Hello, I'm Tilly Trout. I've been watching podcasts, seeing everybody else's knitting and their crafting and really enjoying watching them. So I thought, I'd like to have a go at that and join in the fun. So this is my little podcast. So my name is Tilly. I'm Tilly Trout on Ravelry. I've been knitting for most of my life really. Not always very well. But over the past sort of 5 years, I've got a lot more addicted to it and seem to spend far too much of my time knitting. But I'm not complaining. So the sorts of things I like to knit, I like knitting little creatures, so I thought I would show you some of my little creatures. Teddy bears, I like knitting those. Ralph, this is Ralph. I really enjoyed knitting a little batch of meerkats. Here he is. Things like that. But also I like lace knitting, knitting shawls. I've never particularly enjoyed knitting clothes because I get so fed up when you have to do the sleeves. They go on forever and ever and ever. And I lose heart. But I'm determined to overcome that and start knitting myself some nice jumpers. Maybe if I started knitting things that don't have sleeves to start with, that might be a way forward. I did do a little sleeveless vest type thing a couple of years ago. It was all sort of cabled and I quite liked it. But I just enjoy knitting other things more. So anyway, I thought I would do the things that everybody does on podcasts, because that's what's so interesting to watch. I thought I would show you what's on my needles. So, I was going to knit a sweater in this lovely Malabringo worsted. Oh, and it's so soft and lovely, and I just love this colour so much. It's called Lettuce. It looks like a bit of a rotten lettuce actually, because there's sort of brown bits in it. I think it's more grass up on a mountain sort of colour. Anyway, I was going to knit a sweater, and then I heard that this pills quite badly. And I thought, I don't want to put all that work and all that expensive yarn into a sweater that I'm never going to wear. So I decided to knit a blanket with it. So I started the chevron blanket, which is free on Ravelry. But then a friend of mine taught me to crochet. I have become seriously addicted to crocheting. So I ripped the blanket out. I'd only just started it, but I ripped the blanket out and I've started crocheting one instead. Just simple granny squares, because that's all I'm capable of at the moment. But anyway, I've got this and I'm matching it with this, which is sort of a navy blue. Same Malabringo. And this, which is called Polar Morn, I think. But to me, it looks like a Scottish sky. I love Scotland. Spend an awful lot of time in Scotland. We probably go sort of 7 or 8 times a year. Beautiful place. But anyway, this reminds me of a Scottish sky, which is nearly always about to rain. And that's the colour. It's got light greys and dark greys and silvery bits, and it's just gorgeous. I like that one. And then the other one that I really like to go with it, and the same Malabringo worsted weight, is this one, which I absolutely love as well. And I don't know why, because it's got no colour and I like colour. But it has got a colour because it's cream. It's like clotted cream. It's so lovely to crochet with. So anyway, these are my 4 colours. I've got lots of the green and 2 skeins of the navy and just 1 each of these 2, the cream and the grey. And I don't know if they're the sorts of colours you put together, but I like them because to me it looks like the Scottish sky with the mountains in the background and the green grass you get in Scotland because it's always raining, and then little white sheep running about on the hills. That's what those colours say to me. And so they may not be the colours other people would choose to put together, but they have meaning for me and I like them, and when I look at them that's what I think of. I think of my lovely happy days in Scotland, so I'm just going to use them. What worries me is when I look at the YouTubes for crocheting, they're always in lovely pale, delicate, well thought out colours that go so well together. I'm possibly the opposite to that. But I'm going to use them anyway and enjoy it. So now I'm going to show you one of my squares. I am so proud that I've managed to crochet a square. There it is. And some of them have little innards, and some of them have big innards, all different size innards, but they're all surrounded by green. Here's one of the sort of grey ones. I'm so proud of them. And not only that, I've done lots. Let me get you the whole mitt full of all the ones I've done so far. Oh, I'm so proud, so proud. So proud of my squares. Now, they're not the neatest thing, but you know, I'm learning and it's my first attempt and I'm gradually getting better and better, so I don't mind. My aim is to do really delicate little scarves and things in lace weight crochet. Not squares, but I like the ones that look like little circles. They're like little flowers or little stars. But I think first of all I have to be able to crochet a little bit better, and so I think this is a perfect project. When I am crocheting, I have to concentrate so hard to do a granny square. But you know, before long I'll be whizzing through them and I will have a whole blanket's worth. My daughter says you are never ever going to sew them all together, but I flipping well am, just to prove her that I can. Anyway, that is my little addiction at the moment. Very happy with the yarn and I'm very happy with what I've chosen to do with it, so that's all that matters really. Now, what else can I show you? Now, lots of people have gorgeous project bags and I really like them, but I think I'd rather spend the money on the yarn to put in them. So I'm quite happy not having so many project bags. That said, I have got a couple. This is one. Now, my mother bought me this. She wanted to get me one that had little flowers on and was very tasteful. And partly because I know it annoys her a little bit. And partly because it makes me giggle, I got this one. Now in it is a sweater. So I am trying with the sweaters and the clothing. So this is Horriston by Kate Davies. Now this is the bottom part of it. So this is like the rib at the bottom. And then there is also the pockets. So these little bits of thread dangling down are holding some stitches that I think I then go back to and knit up just those little two areas there, knit up, and that becomes part of the main body of the sweater. So this is partly the rib and partly also the pockets. I hope that makes sense. When I read the pattern it seemed to make sense to me, so I'm okay with it. Now I'm knitting it in Virtual Yarns yarn, and it is Bainin, and I think it's spelled Bainin, and it's Aran weight, and it's not super soft and it's not super scratchy, it's just functional wool. That's what I would call it, functional. And the aim of it is to wear over other things. So I will probably put it on top of jumpers and things that I'm already wearing, and head out into the wilderness with my 2 English Springer Spaniels for walkies. So it'll be a dog walking sort of, almost like a jacket jumper. Now John, my husband, does lots of sailing, and I'm not particularly keen on sailing. I don't like it when the boat goes right over like this. I'm a bit nervous. But when we go back up to Scotland next spring and we get the boat out again, I shall wear this when I'm on the boat, and maybe it will make me feel like a proper sailing fishwife. So anyway, that's Horriston by Kate Davies, and it's nice to knit. I'll put it back in my Frankenstein bag, and hopefully it will turn into something wonderful eventually. Now I have another project bag. It's actually a pencil case, but it's a big pencil case, and it cost £2.99, so it's really, really cheap. There it is. And it's pink, and it's got little deers and little foxes and owls and badgers. And it's got a zip and everything, and it was £2.99, so I don't mind, I quite like it. In it, as well as my crochet addiction, I have an addiction for gloves at the moment. So this yarn was bought to do Pinktober with Knitting Den, and I wanted to do something really pink, some little pink gloves for my daughter, but when it came, I think it's more purple, and I keep asking people, is it pink or is it purple, in the hope that they will say, oh, it's pink, but they don't. They all say mauve, purple, not pink. But I like it anyway, so I'm carrying on. It's by Countess Blaze, and it's Viscount Sparkle. How could you not buy wool that's called Viscount of Sparkle? I had to have it. Anyway, there's the cuff. There's my lovely T-pins. I love knitting in T-pins. Took me quite a long time to get used to them, but when I did, I was addicted. Now here is the first glove that I've already finished. I'm quite proud of it. It's very, very plain because this is only my second pair of gloves, and I'm still sort of getting used to the difficulties and how to knit them. The good thing is there's no holes between the fingers. Looks as if there is, but there really isn't. No holes between the fingers. Now if I just followed the pattern, which is a free pattern that comes with opal yarn, it's on my project page. If you just follow the pattern, you do get little holes, but I picked up extra stitches and knitted stitches together to get the numbers to be right and did that sort of thing, and there's no holes. I'm really pleased about that, because you don't want holes where there shouldn't be holes, because otherwise you're always looking at them thinking, got a hole there, shouldn't have that, but I haven't, so I'm happy. So they're my gloves that I'm knitting. In my little bag I also have some yarn that my daughter bought me. This is Misty Alpaca. Now I don't think it's self-striping, because I don't know if you can see, but the colour changes seem to happen too quickly for it to stripe. Not sure, it'll just be variegated, and it's probably going to be socks, which I'm also a relative beginner at. Difficult to get them to fit perfectly, that's been my trouble. But I thought I might have a go at the skedaddle pattern and see if I can get a decent pair of socks out of that, or because I just love knitting gloves so much, I might knit gloves. I don't know. Now I'm off to Bordeaux to visit a friend on Friday, so at the end of the week, and I thought I might take this with me on the plane, because of course you can take the little wooden DPNs on the plane quite easily, and it's an EasyJet flight. Oh, cheap flights on EasyJet. It's only £50 to travel from Luton Airport to Bordeaux, so you can't complain, except it's a bit dreary. Having said that, I do love flying. I absolutely love flying. When you sit at the top of the runway and the plane starts revving up its engines and then it shoots down the runway and takes off. Oh, I think that's the most exciting thing ever. I love it. And then when you get up in the sky and you look down and you're above the clouds and it looks like Marshmallow World down below. Wonderful. Anyway, I'm going to take this, and I've booked myself a window seat, so I'll be able to look out and I'll be able to do my knitting. And although I'll be sitting like this doing my knitting because you don't get enough space on the plane, it should be a relatively pleasant flight. And also when you have to hang around at airports, when I come home on the Monday, it's a flight towards the end of the day and they always seem to be delayed, and if I've got my knitting, I don't mind. Okay, so the next thing I was going to show you was, I've been watching Little Bobbin Knits, which I really like, the podcast, and she's going to do a mitten along, which I'm quite excited about. I thought I would join in. I think you can do gloves or fingerless mitts or crochet them or knit them or anything, but something for the hands. So anyway, I got this lovely yarn that's been sitting in my stash for a long time because it's 360 metres, which is a funny amount, isn't it? You'd really need 2 skeins, but then perhaps 2 skeins is too much for some little projects. But anyway, it's so lovely and the colours are so gorgeous. I don't know if you can see, it's sort of greens and blues and very, very pale and delicate, and it is the softest yarn. Anyway, Natural Dye Studios, and it is alpaca, and it says it's 4-ply, sock and sport. So it's covering every eventuality there, isn't it? And it is, I don't know if you can see, it's got alpaca in it, and it's got cashmere in it, and it's got silk in it. It's called aqua, the colour, which I think is fair enough to say that's pretty aqua. Anyway, I thought I would use this, and I would do, I think they're called the Lenten mitts. I'm going to set up my project page soon and do it for the knit along with Little Bobbin Knits. It would be a good knit along because it will be perfect for a Christmas present, and it's not too time consuming, and should end up with something nice out of it. Lots of chat and all the usual stuff, one Ravelry when you do knit alongs. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm really pleased to be using this yarn at long last. Okay, that starts on Monday. So this might be the project actually that I take to Bordeaux with me. I'll see which one I feel most enthused about. I think it might be this one. Okay, what else? I thought I would just talk to you a little bit about crafts that my mother does. Now my mum is quite a good crafter, and I think she taught me and made me feel enthusiastic about crafting. So she does lots of knitting, and she does sewing, and it's all perfect, you know. She's one of these people that everything she does is just perfect. And I aspire to be able to do things as well as her. Now we've recently moved house and we've downsized, so my house now is a lot smaller than the one I was living in a few months ago. But so all the things my mum has made me in the past ended up being in the garage still. We haven't sorted out the boxes. So I can't show you all the things I wanted to show you, except to say that she does lots of paperwork. She makes beautiful little books with beads on, and she does little concertina books, so it's hardbacked, and when you open it like a concertina, and then she's drawn or painted little pictures on all the pages, and you concertina it back up and tie a little bow, and it's beautiful. She also does these little dolls, really lovely. Too old for dolls, but I like them anyway. So it's made of paper mache. She's called Coco Chanel, this one. All paper mache apart from a little soft body. She just sits on my bookshelf. There she is. I like her a lot. I also found, because I've always got 2 Springer Spaniels that I absolutely love, but I also I've always had cats, but my old cat died aged sort of 23, something like that, a few years ago now. And because my youngest Springer Spaniel is a bit boisterous and I like to get rescue cats, we just felt it was unfair to get another cat in the house. And so very sadly, and for the first time in my life, I've been living catless for a while. So my mum made me a little cat. It's sort of a knitted, black is all knitted. And then a little felt coat. This is Freddie coming to say hello. A little felt coat with a little bow and little boots. And that's the only cat in my life at the moment, which is very sad. Sorry about Freddie. I could push him down, but I'm not going to because I like him being on my lap. So he's just going to stay here for a little while. So I thought I'd also talk about some of the things that I like and the things that I do. So I'm also an avid reader. I read anything and everything and just love reading. And I have a bad book addiction, and these days I have a bad Kindle addiction. So anyway, thought I'd talk about a book every so often. Oh, he's so sad, isn't he? Look at those sad eyes. Anyway, the book that I thought I'd talk about this time is my favourite book, which is Philip Pullman's The Northern Lights, and it's a trilogy. It's sort of a children's book, but it's not a children's book in that there's so many layers to the story and you can take it in different ways. It can get quite dark, I think, you know, some of the themes in it are quite dark and thought-provoking. Anyway, the first book is quite simple and it's good, but it's quite simple. The second book is called The Subtle Knife, and it starts to get really, really good, and the concepts and things that Philip Pullman brings into the story are just mind-blowingly good. The third book is The Amber Spyglass, and that is just amazing, and when you're finished you just don't look at life the same way again. Well, that's how it was for me. So, my favourite book, and I love it, and because I love it so much it has to be a paper book because I have to have it on my shelf. This face is just curling up with me. I have to have it on my shelf so that I can look at it and think about the story sometimes. All my favourite books are paper books, so I can look at them like this on my shelf and think, oh yeah, that was a wonderful story. And music, I thought I might talk to you about music. Now, I like so much music. I like everything from love the Sex Pistols right through to classical music. I love U2, mainly because I love Bono, but I love U2. I like just so much. But recently, my parents have got me into listening to this, which is the Transatlantic Sessions. And it's a group of musicians who get together in a house in Scotland and they play all sorts of different music. No audience, they just sing and play instruments and just enjoy music together. Now, it's people from Scotland singing old Scottish ballads, Irish ballads, livelier music, and transatlantic, so people from America playing sort of folky country sort of music. I don't really know what you'd call the genre, but it's really, really good. My dad has just recently taken up playing the slide guitar. It's one of those guitars that you sit on your lap like this, and I think you sort of slide something up and down the strings. And so he quite likes watching the musical part of it. My husband, John, plays the guitar, so he likes watching the music part. I just really love the singing and the wistful songs and the sad songs, and I love the livelier songs. So that is what I'm listening to and watching at the moment. We don't have a television, but I do like putting on a DVD every so often. So this is the one I'm listening to or watching at the moment. I also really like 6 Feet Under. I know it's an old series, but I like watching that. I like The Sopranos. I don't know. Film some really good series that come on and I really enjoy it. Just occasionally. I just don't want a television in my house the whole time. Okay, I thought that's all I would talk about today. I'm making some bread in the kitchen, so I've got to go and give that a little bit of a prod and get that ready to do its second rise. And I think that Freddie is demanding some of my attention, so I might have to go out and make a little fuss of Freddie. My other Springer Spaniel's called Stanley, and he has slunk into my son's bedroom, and I should imagine he's sneakily crept up onto the bed. I'll have to go and sort him out and tell him to get off in a minute. Okay, so that's it for my first podcast. Thought I'd just give it a go, and it gives you an opportunity to chat and chat and chat and chat and chat. Bye then!